Have you ever worked harder than everyone around you, carrying the weight of your department, only to receive a standard 3% raise? You forced a smile. You politely said thank you. But quietly, something inside you fractured. You realized that no matter your effort, there is an invisible ceiling right above your head, and you will never break through it. This is the story of two men. Same hometown, same starting point, but entirely different philosophies. Let's call them Arthur and Julian. Both were 22, eager, stepping into the real world. Arthur was deeply practical. He craved predictability and the comfort of a guaranteed outcome. He chose the corporate ladder, securing a role as a logistics and supply chain analyst for a massive national retailer. The starting salary was solid for their area. He had health benefits, a matched retirement fund, and a clear path upward. His family was relieved. They told him to put his head down, be loyal, and let the company take care of him. Arthur did everything right. He played by the rules. He was the first car in the parking lot and the last to leave. His spreadsheets were flawless. Within 3 years, he was promoted to senior coordinator. By year 5, regional shift manager. He bought a modest home in the suburbs and drove a reliable sedan. He paid his bills on time, and by society's definition, Arthur had won. Julian chose a different, almost reckless route. He had zero interest in a guaranteed paycheck. Instead, he apprenticed under a master craftsman, learning high-end custom woodwork and bespoke cabinetry. His starting pay was less than half of Arthur's. While Arthur hosted weekend barbecues, Julian lived in a cramped studio apartment, driving an old van that barely started in winter. Every spare dollar Julian made was reinvested into specialized tools, premium wood, and business courses. People whispered he was wasting his potential. They pointed to Arthur's ascent as the standard. But Julian wasn't looking at Friday's paycheck. He was looking 10 years ahead. He understood a fundamental rule of wealth. If you are paid for your time, you will always have a limit. If you are paid for the value you create, the limit disappears. 7 years into their journeys, Arthur hit a wall. He was now a district manager, making $115,000 a year. But during his annual review, when he asked about his 5-year trajectory, the room grew quiet. The director sighed. While Arthur was their top performer, executive positions rarely opened. And even if one did, the maximum salary band was $125,000. That was the cap. Arthur drove home in silence. He pulled out a piece of paper and did the brutal math. After mortgage, taxes, healthcare, student loans, and daycare, his family had only a few $100s of breathing room each month. 10 more years of giving his soul to the company would yield maybe $500 extra monthly. The ceiling above him wasn't glass. It was thick concrete. A few weeks later, Arthur ran into Julian at a coffee shop. Julian looked different. He radiated calm confidence. He was reviewing blueprints, his company logo embroidered on his jacket. Julian mentioned he had secured a contract to build custom interiors for a boutique hotel downtown. The contract was for $120,000. It would take his crew 6 weeks. After materials and payroll, Julian would personally pocket over $50,000 in profit from a single 6-week job. Arthur felt the air leave his lungs. He realized his immovable ceiling was Julian's floor. Sensing his friend's despair, Julian grabbed a pen and drew 2 images on a napkin. "Arthur," he said gently, "there are only 2 types of jobs. Jobs with ceilings and jobs without them." He pointed to a ladder against a flat ceiling. "This is your world, salaried positions. You can climb, but you're paid for time, not results. You could be the best in the state, it doesn't matter. The company sets a range to keep you comfortable enough not to quit, but they will never pay more than necessary. Your income is controlled by someone else." Then he pointed to a staircase rising into open sky. "This is my world. Skilled trades, ownership, commission sales, consulting. There is no ceiling here. If I refine my skills, I charge more. If I build better systems, margins grow. If I hire more hands, I multiply my time. I am paid strictly for the value I deliver." The truth settled heavily on Arthur's shoulders. He had been climbing the wrong structure. But life is rarely too late for a pivot. Arthur didn't quit the next day. He was strategic. He inventoried his skills. He knew supply chain logistics, inventory optimization, and team management better than anyone. He realized thousands of e-commerce businesses needed that knowledge to scale. For 18 months, Arthur worked corporate by day and built a boutique logistics consultancy by night. He started with 1 client, then 3, then 7. It required sacrifice, but he wasn't just surviving, he was building his exit. When his side income matched his salary, Arthur walked into his director's office and handed in his notice. He turned down a counteroffer without hesitation. He stepped off the ladder and onto the staircase. My friend, this story isn't just about Arthur and Julian. It is about you. Look up. Is there an invisible ceiling pressing down on your potential? Working a ceiling job does not make you a failure. There is honor in honest work. If that path brings you peace and stability, embrace it. But if you feel that quiet ache for more, if you are giving everything and receiving a fraction, it is time to choose. Identify the skills you possess. Find a problem. Become the solution. Start small. Build in the quiet hours. And construct your staircase. 10 years from now, you will either stand under the same ceiling or breathe the air of open sky. The choice is yours. If you are ready to stop climbing and start building, this is Tales of Life and Wisdom. Let's walk this path home together.